We're going on a trip, and we're all passengers. That's coming up. Welcome on in, all you space refugees. I'm Matthew, and this is the Rebels Refuge. This week, we're joining in on a challenge build in collaboration with Whitey's Wicked Workshop and others for May the 4th be with you. The Passenger, as you may know, was the second episode in Season 2 of The Mandalorian, where we were first introduced to the Frog Lady and her egg canister. And that's our challenge build this week. So let's get started.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so we had a hiccup. We lost literally all of our footage. Hey, it happens. But I decided instead of giving you just what we had left, I would go back, deconstruct our project, and give you an entire build video. So let's jump back in. I love to use found parts on our build, and this one is no exception. We're going full scale on this build, but we're not going to be screen accurate. I used a 2-gallon jug found at a local big box store for the main vessel to contain our eggs. Then we filled it with some clear glue and just a drop of blue food coloring. I cut down a standard 2-quart stainless steel bowl to better fit the profile of our container. These are metal shears, but a Dremel could also be used here. This is some edge banding I used to cover the sharp edges and give a similar look to our inspiration piece. I wanted to show a greebly option for those that don't have a 3D or resin printer, and also give us an option instead of using 2-part epoxy. These silicone molds will do the trick for us. I chose to use these large rubber balls as our egg substitutes. No, not egg beaters. Now, since these balls are hollow, they float. So my solution to this is to fill some of the eggs with water to get them both to float and sink in the container. The easiest way I could think to template the front-mounted parts was to place tape on the vessel and freehand the design that we wanted. A reused plastic bucket already has the round shape we need and won't need further manipulation. I needed the bands around our container to grip tightly, but these band clamps weren't large enough, so I cut them and affixed them to the bands to extend our reach. I wanted to make a mechanical attachment of this rear frame to the main container, so I needed to build a structure to hug our container tightly. By using a few nuts and some all thread, we were able to make uprights that could be clamped to the body of our build. The front control panel has a few LEDs and switches, and we need to incorporate those to our piece to look authentic. So we used some masonite for our box, a few regular toggles, and some pre-wired LEDs with a battery pack to accomplish this. Then more of our drafting mylar to diffuse the light. Okay, so I stole a lid from the kitchen to make this top. We then affixed some MDF laser cut pieces to our lid to make a more inspired looking handle. Our top was made from a plastic bowl that we cut the bottom out of. I love using this aluminum HVAC tape for items such as this, where a wooden edge just won't do. Now I understand not everyone has a pair of snips like these. Well, this aluminum can be cut using a standard razor or X-Acto knife and bending the metal along the scored line. Okay, so on the original vessel, it has this lower box that has a large heat sink attached. So rather than using a spare one, I decided to show a unique way that you can make a look-alike using the same aluminum flashing we've used previously. I could have used PVC and some elbows to accomplish this, but like I said before, I wanted to show a different solution to our problem: a bit of leftover electrical wire and a foam rod. The original has leather shoulder straps, so I headed over to my local dollar store and grabbed a couple of belts and cut the really stylish bottle opener buckles off. A few more greeblies and some weathering, and we have a pretty convincing replica. And there we go, a new prop to add some character in our room, and thanks again to the entire Star Wars build community for making this challenge a lot of fun. And I personally can't wait until the next time we build something out of this world.